So in today's video, we're going to talk very much about how to extend your arms through the ball. This is a really key movement that will obviously help you no end. Now, what we're going to do first of all is we're going to focus on a bit of loft. Okay, so I'm going to use my sand wedge here, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to do some hip high swings. So I'm just going to take the club from hip high through to hip high into this position. What I'm going to be really looking for at this stage is width, okay? And what I mean by width is I'm going to try and make sure that if I was focusing just on my left hand only on the golf club, I'm going to make sure when I take it back, see the way the club head is a nice distance away from my left arm on the backswing, and it maintains that equal distance on the through swing as well, okay? That's what I'm going to try and get that feeling for. Now, you can do some swings like that first and foremost, and to be honest with a lot of students, I'll often get them swinging lead hand only to really get that sense of width in that golf swing. And the reason for that is because what often happens with a lot of golfers is instead of moving the club back where they move the hands and arms and their chest in the backswing, they tend to move like this. And this for me is a very narrowing movement. We don't want to be doing this. We want to feel like we're stretching that club back, getting a nice bit of width, and then a nice bit of width on that way through. So that would be the first thing that you'd want to do, and hit some shots like that. Okay, so if I'm going to hit a couple of shots here, just almost like a pitching action, hip high, and what we can see there is the way that my arms are able to stay nice and straight. Okay, now I would strongly suggest that you do that first, because although that seems incredibly simple, most amateur golfers think they're doing it correctly and they end up in this type of position. So hit a couple of shots where you focus on taking it back nice and wide, maximising that width. Happy days. And that's kind of like the simplicity of how to extend your arms through the ball. The question would be, why don't you end up doing that when it comes to a fuller swing? And I think the reason why is because a lot of golfers think, well, if I just keep my arms straight like this, I'm never going to be able to introduce any speed or any distance. So the way that you counteract this problem is you could then go to, as I'm doing here, my 7-iron, and you can do the same swing, wide and wide, get good solid foundation, good technical ability there. You might only hit the ball 70 yards. And then what you're going to do is you're going to advance the swing a little bit further. So you're going to go from a hip high position to a chest high position. And what will happen very naturally when you take that club back to that chest high position is your trail arm will start to bend. So my right arm will bend as I take that club slightly further back. And what that now does, that now gives you a chance to focus on straightening. So one of my favourite training aids, or my favourite training aid, is the Swing Buddy. And the Swing Buddy is a simple rope trainer. But what the Swing Buddy does is it gives you an opportunity to focus on release, whipping. And where that whipping sensation is coming from, it's coming from two things. One of the things that it's coming from is what we did earlier, the sense of my hands continuing to move through. But the other reason why that whipping sound is occurring is because I am straightening my arm. So it's that simultaneous allowing my arm to straighten as I guide the hands through towards that hip high position that gives you that speed. So what I'm suggesting is you can go back to your wedge or your 7-iron or whatever it is that you want to do. And what you're going to do this time is you're going to advance that swing a little bit further along to here. And then from here, I'm going to allow my arm to straighten as I'm in this position. And that is a really good routine. And then all of a sudden you're going to pick up another 20, 30 yards. And then what you'll find is you can just then continue to practice very much around that. So you go, oops, keep that there. Halfway to halfway. And then you can go a little bit further, straighten your arms, and it's this sensation here, releasing that arm with that bit of awareness of being in this position that then gives you that capability to keep your arm straight in the through swing whilst understanding club head speed. And of course then, when you go to hit some full shots, you can just try and incorporate those feelings, taking the club a little bit further back, whipping it down and through, make a big difference, I promise you. See you soon.